Are you ready for some football? Well, it is time because you've made your fantasy football picks. Now it's time to pick the real players in the real games. And with me is Dan Bickley of 987 FM. And Dan,
hi, Brad. How are you?
Hi, how you doing? It's
good to see you.
It's time. Football's here. Everyone's excited.
Oh, I'm excited. Most of America's excited. You know, we're not going to have a Sunday without NFL football until the middle of February.
Oh, my goodness.
So, literally, this is the beginning of week one. It's almost like the beginning of a national holiday that's going to last all the way through February. Now, what's interesting is this upcoming football season ends in Glendale, Arizona, because that's where the Super Bowl is. Where will the Cardinals be at the end of the season? That's the big question.
That's the question we got to ask because we've been knowing about the preseason, how it's been like a little up and down. Guys have been sick. We didn't even have a quarterback during the preseason. He was not there. We didn't know if he was him because the contract had just come through for him. And so what are we looking at? What's going on with him?
Well, here's what we're looking at from 30,000 feet, Brad. It's been a very bizarre offseason from day one for the Cardinals. You had the Kyler Murray contract drama that lasted throughout the whole preseason. You had the suspension of DeAndre Hopkins, a star wide receiver that nobody saw coming. And then, boom, here we are in training camp where the Cardinals really have kind of had a real chill kind of training camp. They've not been participating in any of the preseason games. And a lot of people are wondering, is this team ready to play their opening game against a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, who are one of the best in football?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what they're banking on. They're banking on Kyler Murray, this young quarterback who's in year 4, putting it all together and putting together an MVP-type season. Now, if you remember, he's a #1 overall draft pick, and these picks generate lots of excitement in the cities and the teams that they go to. He's been up and down throughout his career. He's been polarizing at times. He's been criticized for not being a good leader, for maybe being a little bit too inclusive and not knowing how to work a room like a veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who hope that this is the year that it all comes together for him, that the kid with all this amazing physical ability will learn all the other stuff, namely the nuance of football, the leadership element, how to carry a team to the finish line. If he puts it all together and has that MVP kind of season, he's going to bring the rest of the Cardinals with him, flaws, warts, and all.
Okay, so that's right there. We got him, but what about our other players? That's the thing. You said about making an MVP team here.
Right.
Do we have that?
It's interesting. You look at the offense that the Cardinals have, and this truly could be an excellent offense. And when DeAndre Hopkins comes back in Week 7, they could be a Super Bowl caliber offense. But a lot of people like myself have looked at the defense and gone, there's a lot of question marks here. There's a lot of holes on this defense. They really haven't spent a ton of money on this defense. But one guy to look out for is this young linebacker, Isaiah Simmons, who came from Clemson. He was a big-time draft pick a couple years ago. He's talking a good game, and a lot of people around football think he's ready to pop for the Cardinals in a good way.
All right, I like that. Let's switch gears, college football. So let's talk, because that has started.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring up my team. We were there, but what's
Who's your team, Brad?
Well, you got to bring up Notre Dame. Notre Dame. All right, Notre Dame. I'm fine. I'm a Notre Dame.
Okay.
So, but let's talk ASU, U of A. Start off, I mean, so far so good.
Yeah, I think this was a great opening week for Arizona college football. I think both the Sun Devils and the Wildcats over-delivered in terms of expectations. That's always a good thing to do. I think Arizona showed that this new head coach, Jed Fish, he brought in a lot of good talent via the transfer portal to the point where you're like, wow, this might be a bowl team. And keep in mind, Arizona's been historically bad. ASU, with all the chaos and controversy and NCAA investigation, they got this new quarterback in. His name is Emory Jones. He over-delivered in his first start. So both schools are 1-0. Optimism is everywhere. Let's see how they do in week 2.
Dan, where can they find, of course, all the sports information you give out?
Well, you can find my radio show at 98.7 FM, Morning Drive, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. My show, I do it with Vince Marotta, and you can find my column at ArizonaSports.com. So if you did not get enough of Dan Bickley here today, that's where you can find me, Brad.
Thanks, Dan, very much. All right, there we go. Football season has started.